Hello everyone.
Hello there.
We are joking. We say ever since we've started with the recordings here at Tafelkop, it's a very refined background with a painting and a plastered wall with a very muted tone and so on. Very stylish, civilized. I mean, at Barrowfield we sat against the stone walls of the chapel and there's this big change, and we said maybe we should say something. This isn't setting the tone of how things are going to be at Tafelkop. You should know your wine list, and
you should know art at least.
Yes, yes.
No, because really I would say the environment is not as tame.
Yeah. And
we were thinking of just chatting a bit about how we find it here and what speaks to us and what's beautiful to us, and
yeah, we've chosen this background because we've just settled in, and this is the place that's the best backdrop at this stage.
Yeah.
But we'll do exploring, and as we develop the other places as well, the backdrop certainly will change.
I'm thinking of that beautiful light there in the old wagon barn where it's really beautiful light. But at this stage, everything is so jam-packed with our stuff. So that will take some time.
But the fact is that we are already, amidst all the other activities, logistic activities, already we are aware of the presence of nature at Tafelkop.
Yeah, and how it impacts us. Because I think what we need to say is that Tafelkop is much colder.
Yes.
Much higher in altitude, about almost 400 meters higher than where we were. And you can definitely feel the difference in terms of the air being much colder. And then we have really, really strong winds. I think it's the setting also. It creates quite strong winds from the west and the southwest, which is icy cold at this stage. But what's beautiful about that is that almost that wildness of the wind. Because of the tall, huge trees that we have here, you constantly have this rustling, this sound going through the trees. It sounds like the ocean. And it's beautiful, and it's a presence really. And something that you know that you can't, that you will have to adapt to. It's not going to adapt to you. And I love that. I love that it's a place where humans have not, I don't know how you would tame the wind, but where the fingerprint isn't as strong. The footprint isn't as strong.
The human footprint.
The human footprint, where the nature really needs to be respected and lived with and according to what the day predicts.
Yeah, and where it is a prominent voice joining this large conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
Where in other settings, the human voice is so overwhelming that the other voices, whether it's nature, whether it is animals, whether it is the more than human aspects of life, where it is silenced and pushed to the background. Here, it is a presence.
Yes.
And you have to acknowledge that, and you can't do otherwise than be aware of it. And it's wonderful to experience that. And we've positioned our table where we have our meals. We've positioned it in such a way that it faces Tafelkop. So Tafelkop is here right at the back of the house. We down the slope of the one side of Tafelkop, but it's actually very, very close. So we've positioned our table in such a way that we look through this big window every time we sit down and we face Tafelkop. So we see the rock formations, and when the wind is blowing like it is, or how it has been blowing for the past week, it's this movement through the long grass against the slopes. It's almost like a wave pattern, but sometimes it resembles flocks of sheep running against the slopes. It's beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful. And then we had a peek of what we were told of, that they are here. And one morning I looked through the window and I said to George, there's some buck over there. And then we saw that it was actually the reindeer that we were told about. And they are just so beautiful in that grass. It's a small flock. Do you call it a flock?
And do you call it a reindeer, or is it only a deer?
Is it a deer? Well, we'll have to look it up. But it's beautiful, and it's got antlers, and it's got little dots like real deer. And there's 2 little rams and 3 ewes, I think. And it's just such a lovely presence to see now and again. Lovely. Also, they're so quiet. They just stand still for such a long time, looking around and just standing quietly there.
And late today, we've heard the jackals calling.
Yeah, I wondered about jackal. I think also Tafelkop is very much a presence.
Yes.
And I love that because it's it gives a feeling of groundedness and of weight, and it really makes me feel quite safe. So it's also something that you're constantly aware of, the light on the stone formations in the late afternoon. It's beautiful. It becomes almost red, so lovely. And just in the mornings, and the wind in the grass, it's like a big screen. And it's lovely just to be aware of this mountain all the time. I think in that sense it resembles, it's a way that I always felt Zayuk Dam felt to me. As you drive to Barrowfield, you've got this dam, this presence, this real landmark actually that you are aware of. It's not something that you can ignore. It's there. And Tafelkop, even from afar, is such a definite landmark.
It's such a dominant landmark.
Yes, a lovely
towering
profile
over the landscape.
And it looks completely different to the other mountain tops around.
Yes.
Here. So it's a definite, almost unique structure. It just looks differently.
Yes, than the other mountains. So you drive, as you come from Wakkerstroom, you see this landmark towering over the landscape, and you say, that's impressive. And as you drive along, you come closer to our home, and you turn off to Tafelkop, and you realize, but it's right at the base of this wonderful landmark.
It's really a very, the energy that I feel here is a very open and healing energy. So we're really excited about what this will also mean, what Tafelkop will mean to people who come here, because we've experienced that at Barrowfield, that we are the custodians here, but that the place actually, the nature, the climate, the beauty really does the work.
Yes, and we're excited in what we've already seen and experienced, because we know there's so much more to explore now that we've done the moving and so on. Now the exploring is going to start, and it is this knowing that this will be a space, because that is constantly our dream and our wish, that this is a space that is good for people.
Yeah.
And all the potential is there and much more.
Yes.
It surprises us constantly. So we're excited to experience something of that already. And it's very, very early days, but we love our house and the setting.
And we really don't want you to be put off by the cold. It is cold, and I think we will definitely make sure that it's lovely and cozy indoors. And there's something about retreating and going inwards in wintertime when the days are shorter and the nights are longer. And so really, we really hope to see you here in winter as well, that you will brave it with us.
And to do some wintering.
Yes, to do some real wintering. That will be one. I love that phrase. Yeah.
So we'll keep you posted as to the happenings and things opening up as we progress.
Yeah, we're excited about the collaboration with Furalenhof. You'll see on social media about that retreat, and until we can have people here.
So we'll keep you posted. Keep well and keep warm on that side. We talk next week again.
Have a good week, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.